What's going on YouTube? Blue Collar Success here. Today's video I'm going to be talking about now, do welders actually make over 100K? Now, I know Mike Rowe is a good dude and I agree with him on a lot of things, but in my opinion, the average welder, it's very hard to get over that 100K mark. Okay, so I was just looking at welding jobs in my area and, Chicago area, whatever, Milwaukee area, Madison area. I'm in Madison right now for a work trip, and I'm seeing $18 to $22 an hour, and it looks like it says 2350 capped. I mean that really ain't that great of money. That's like 50 grand a year. And I guess if you're working like a crazy amount of overtime, like 80 hours a week with time and a half double time, yeah, maybe you could cross a 100K mark. But at that point, is it worth it for killing yourself over, just ruining your body, not spending time with family, friends, if you've got children? Yeah, I get you need to make a living, but the older I get, the more I realize that the employer could really not care about you at all. If I happen to die today or tomorrow, my employer would replace me or put my job posting out the next week. And that's just reality. It's a sad reality, but it's just reality. I've never met an employer that really just looks at you like more than a number. Just my experience, but yeah. So I see all these welding jobs here, and it's just like 40K a year, $17 an hour for. I maybe if you were, starting just out of high school or welding school, maybe. But even then, I'd say 18 to 20 if you went to a welding school, got some certifications, got a diploma, whatever, that would make sense. But unless you are a very highly skilled welder in a very high demand industry, TIG welding on stainless steel pipe or something, being a pipe fitter, like that's what I do. Stick welding on high pressure steam, condensate, heating lines, gas lines, TIG welding on stainless steel process piping, structural welding here and there. That's what's going to make you the most money. Pipeline welding, being a pipeline welder. But then again, you're traveling all the time. So it's really what you really want out of life. You got to decide, what do you want out of life? Do you want to make a lot of money but have no free time, or make, not as much money but have more free time? I don't know. It's a tough decision because everything seems to be getting so expensive nowadays. It's like, what are you supposed to do? So there has to be some kind of happy medium. I work a decent amount of overtime, nothing crazy though, maybe 45, 50 hours a week. Sometimes I'll do more, but you know what? My time is getting more and more valuable the older I get, and I want to spend time with my fiance, my friends, my parents. My grandparents are getting old. They're probably not going to be around too much longer. I just want to enjoy life and spend time with my family. I make enough money to where I can comfortably do that and take vacations and enjoy life. And yeah, I've worked hard from when I got out of high school, starting real low in salary to where I'm at now at like $40 an hour. I've really just, and that's not even that high. It's okay money, but it's not like a brain surgeon or anything. But I make a decent living. I consider myself middle class. Me and my fiance, we do pretty well for ourselves. But an average welder, and these job descriptions are, the saying they expect you to, they're paying, it said $18 an hour, but they're saying, you need to be proficient at TIG welding, MIG welding, flux core welding. You need to be able to pass a AWS test. You need to be able to read complex prints. You need to be able to use all power tools and iron worker, drill press, chop saw. I get it. I really actually don't get it. because I mean they're expecting a lot for $18 an hour, and 18 to 23.50 or that. I mean, they're expecting a lot out of the person for a very minimal wage. I mean, sad to say, but you can go to McDonald's nowadays and make 14, 15, $16 an hour. I mean, so you're telling me you're going to go to a trade school and, rack up some debt, maybe you'll pay for it cash and come out and make, $18 an hour. And yeah, you can work your way up, but, 23.50, that's the max. That's kind of laughable, and it's kind of pathetic. I feel like welders, in my opinion, unless it's just production welding or whatever, but if it's more fabrication, reading prints, setting up, layout and stuff like that, feel like 25 to 28 is a decent range. In the 30s, lower 30s. I don't know. Honestly, this is why more people are starting businesses, and this is, because they're sick and tired of all these low wages. I get the benefits are sometimes good, and you need health insurance and all that crap, but, oftentimes these companies, when I was working at a steel fabricator right out of high school, they had, I was on my parents' insurance, luckily, because I was only 18 or 19, but they had crap benefits. They had no really good 401k stuff. It just didn't really have any good benefits to make me stick around. That's why I joined the union and got involved with the steam fitters union. And then I went in-house, and then now I'm in-house for the federal. So I had, a couple jobs, and I just kind of hopped around and found out what was right for me. And now I kind of found my niche, and I love it, But to get back on track, the average welder does not make $100,000 a year. Yeah. If you get, like I said, specialty welding, more skilled welding than just, I'm just surprised. I'm kind of baffled at how low they're paying. This is 2023. This ain't, 2010 anymore. I graduated high school in 2014. I started off at, I believe it was $16 an hour. So in 10 years almost, they only bumped up the pay raise by $2 starting. With the cost of living and everything going up, you really can't even, you could get a crummy apartment for 18 unless you're, like I said, unless you're working so much overtime. It's just not worth it almost, like, to go into the trade sometimes, unless you join a union or you just grind it out until you build that really good skill level, like, become a journeyman plumber. Then I feel like it's worth it. But I can see why a lot of people don't want to go into these, manual labor jobs. They really don't pay that well. I was looking at, carpenters or whatever, and this was non-union, but, they were paying like $20 an hour for an experienced framer carpenter, and I'm like, $20 an hour, come on. And from a business standpoint, yeah, if you want to test your employees out, but in order to find good people, you got to pay them what they're worth. And if you're not willing to pay people what they're worth, then they're either going to walk or you're going to get a bunch of not so good employees. So it is what it is. But like I said, Mike Rowe is a good dude. He has a lot of great intentions, and he is, a very influential figure, and he is a good dude. It's just, when he says welders should make over $100,000 a year, yeah, if they're in the specialty welding and if they're doing overtime, but the average welder, he or she ain't making even close to that without doing a killing in overtime. So every job I scroll at, I'm scrolled through 30, 40 jobs, and the top pay I've seen was $27 an hour. And this is in a pretty high, expensive cost of living area. $27 an hour. It's okay, but some of these job descriptions, they're expecting you to do heavy-duty flux core structural welding, operating cranes, all this stuff. And like I said, in my opinion, 20, 27 or whatever, to lower 30s, 25, 27, whatever. But 18 to 27, where you top out at 27, it just ain't worth it. So that's what today's video is on. Just be careful what you always hear. Don't jump into anything without doing your thorough research into it, because college isn't always the answer, but the trades aren't always the answer either. Just make sure you're wise about how you join the trades, what trade you're getting into, and don't waste your time. I guess nothing's really a waste of time. I look at everything as a learning experience, but really try to think things through and just plan ahead and plan for the future. Thank you for watching.